This video is brought to you by Audible.com. Hey guys, this is Nick with PhoneArena and you're watching our in-depth review of the Samsung Galaxy Fame. What we have on our hands is an entry-level Android smartphone that likely won't impress you with anything other than its low price. As such, it comes with some pretty modest hardware specs. There's a 3.5-inch display on its front, 1 GHz single-core processor is powering the device. On its back we have a 5-megapixel camera with an LED flash, and you also get 4 GB of on-board storage. One of its biggest assets, however, is that the smartphone comes with a fairly new version of Android 4.1 Jelly Bean that's loaded out of the box. Now let's take a closer look at it and see what else the smartphone has to offer. So here it is, the Samsung Galaxy Fame in all its cuteness. The smartphone is of relatively small proportions, and its shape, with its curved back sides, reminds us a lot of a pebble. It fits perfectly in the palm of your hand and it's very easy to operate with a single thumb. The smartphone may be made mostly out of plastic, but it doesn't have that cheap feel that plastic phones are usually associated with. Actually, it's the opposite. It feels sturdy and very solid in the hand. Our only complaint about its design is that its back and front sides retain a certain amount of finger smudge, but that's probably an imperfection that won't bother many of its owners. Now it's time to take a look around the sides of the device. On the left side we have a 2-button volume rocker, and on the right side we have the lock button. Both of them, by the way, are very well exposed and respond with a nice click when you press them. Here on the bottom we have the micro USB port and the microphone, and on top we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. The low-resolution display on the Samsung Galaxy Fame is pretty disappointing. It measures 3.5 inches in diagonal and has a resolution of 320 by 480 pixels. That's very low by today's standards, and to no surprise there's a noticeable lack of detail in both text and graphics. Viewing angles aren't anything spectacular either. As far as outdoor visibility goes, using the smartphone on a sunny day is practically impossible unless you boost the brightness up to the maximum. You have to do that manually by using the brightness slider located here in the drop-down notification bar. Now let us say a few words about our sponsor, Audible.com. Audible is a leading audiobook service with a catalog of over 100,000 hit titles like The Hunger Games or 50 Shades of Grey, just to name a few. What's more, if you go to audiblepodcast.com/PhoneArena, you'll be able to download one free audiobook and listen to it anytime on any device. So if you want to get started with this beautiful service, just head over to audiblepodcast.com/PhoneArena. Although it's just an entry-level smartphone, the Samsung Galaxy Fame comes with a fairly recent version of Android 4.1 Jelly Bean. Layered on top of it is Samsung's custom user interface, which adds functionality and extra blink to the smartphone's interface. For example, you can mute calls simply by flipping the device and shaking it would refresh all the widgets that are displayed on your home screens. Speaking of widgets, you get a whole bunch of them out of the box, including one that provides quick access to the alarm clocks and one that allows you to use the phone's LED light as a flashlight. There's also a handy widget for taking down quick notes, and there's another one that is a combination of a clock and the weather widget. The drop-down notification panel has also been customized and now hosts a wide array of toggle buttons for various features such as Wi-Fi, GPS, and lots more. You also get a slider that can adjust the display's brightness. Last but not least, by holding down the home button, you can access Google Now and the built-in task manager. Here we have the on-screen virtual keyboard. Unfortunately, it feels very tiny when it's being used in portrait mode, so our guess is that you'll be using it quite a lot in landscape mode, just like this. Thankfully, it supports predictive text input, and that will surely help you with the typos that you are very likely to make. With its 1 GHz single-core processor and 512 MB of RAM, the Samsung Galaxy Fame ranks rather low on the benchmark scores. Its real-life performance isn't out of this world either, as delays are occasionally present when launching or switching between applications. Yet thankfully you can play some basic video games on the Samsung Galaxy Fame. Games like Angry Birds Star Wars and Temple Run 2 run just fine at decent frame rates. Storage space is very limited with the Samsung Galaxy Fame. Out of the 4 GB that come on board, only 2 GB are available to the user, and that will run in no time. That's why it's advisable to get a microSD card with your Galaxy Fame. To make up for that, Samsung is adding 50 GB of Dropbox storage for 2 years. There's nothing new to see on the stock web browser on the Samsung Galaxy Fame. It has all the basics covered, it allows you to save web pages for offline viewing, and it supports multiple tabs. When viewing some lighter web pages, it runs just fine, but it struggles when rendering heavy web pages such as ours. This is the camera interface on the Samsung Galaxy Fame. It's pretty much identical to what you'd see on any other Samsung Android smartphone, but that's not a bad thing at all because it's pretty straightforward to use and offers a bunch of handy features. We were surprised to see that the smartphone's 5-megapixel autofocus camera can take some pretty good photos. They're a bit noisy but pack a lot of detail in the frame. Videos, however, are of very bad quality. They are recorded at a maximum resolution of 640 by 480 pixels and look pretty bad. What you see is a stock music player on the Samsung Galaxy Fame. Again, there's nothing too fancy about it, but it gets the job done, so we aren't complaining. In addition to all the basic music playback features, you get an equalizer with lots of presets, but you can also customize it manually by yourself. As long as you don't mind the smallish display in the Samsung Galaxy Fame, you can use it for watching videos every once in a while. Just be aware that not a whole lot of file formats are supported. Actually, only our MPEG-4 files were playable in resolution no higher than 800 by 480 pixels. Phone calls made using the Samsung Galaxy Fame are of above average quality. Voice tones emitted by the earpiece are easy to distinguish without even having to turn the volume all the way up. On the other side of the line, our voice is clear as well, although it is accompanied by a certain amount of background noise. The battery inside the Samsung Galaxy Fame has a capacity of 1300 mAh and can be removed if that's needed. Based on our experience with the device, we'd say that it doesn't really last long, so in case you're a heavy user, better get used to charging the battery overnight. So that's the Samsung Galaxy Fame for you guys. It's not perfect, but considering its class and price point, we weren't really expecting it to be. Overall, it's a nice entry-level Android smartphone that will surely grab the attention of the younger crowd, especially the ladies. We are genuinely pleased with its design, and it's nice to see that it can take some quality photos with its 5-megapixel camera. Just make sure you can live with a low-quality display before buying one. But before you reach for your wallet, it would be wise to check out some of the alternatives to the Samsung Galaxy Fame. For example, the Sony Xperia Miro comes with very similar hardware specs, yet doesn't cost much more than the Galaxy Fame. In fact, you might be able to find it for even less. Also, the Samsung Galaxy Ace 2 might be over a year old now, but is superior in terms of hardware specs, although it doesn't cost much more than the Fame. And as long as your budget can handle it, you should also consider getting the HTC Desire X, which has much better hardware specs, yet doesn't really cost a lot more than the Galaxy Fame. Thank you for watching our video review of the Samsung Galaxy Fame. This is Nick. For lots more information, just visit our website, PhoneArena.com.